Hello everybody, Corey here. We're going to go over the YieldMax single stock ETFs, trades and holdings in this video. As a reminder, I do not provide personal investment advice, and I'm not a qualified licensed investment advisor. I am an amateur investor. All information found here, including any ideas, opinions, views, predictions, forecasts, commentary, suggestions, or stock picks expressed or implied herein, are for informational, entertainment, or educational purposes only and should not be construed as personal investment advice. While the information provided is believed to be accurate, it may include errors and inaccuracies. Conduct your own due diligence and consult a licensed financial advisor or broker before making any and all investment decisions. Any investments, trades, speculations, or decisions made on the basis of information found in my videos expressed or implied herein are committed at your own risk, financial or otherwise. YieldMax ETF risk information can be found on their website and within their prospectuses. Then a brief overview. Before investing, carefully consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. The information along with other details is available in the prospectus. Please read the prospectuses carefully before making any investment. Investments involve risk. Principal loss is possible. They go on to detail, and I will not read all of these, but they go in detail about the underlying security risk, derivative risk, distribution risk, NAV erosion risk due to distributions, call right and strategy risk, single issuer risk, high portfolio turnover risk, new fund risk, liquidity risk, and non-diversification risk. So if you haven't gathered by now, whether before my video or during this, these are risky. All right, so let's move on. We are going to the holdings tab because all of our trades can also be seen on here. So we're going to jump right into this. As y'all know, it was an extremely red day today. So everything is down. Let's see. I'm waiting. I checked this earlier and it was fine. I do apologize, but I know, so this is typed over altogether. Or I guess it was this one I saw. Dang it. Holy shizzle. All right. So I apologize. Somehow I overwrote all of the formulas in column A. So I had to go back and rebuild them. Luckily, I didn't have to rebuild the entire sheet as that would not have been good. So thank goodness it was only column A, fairly simple. The rest of that is not. Anyway, we're going to move on to AIYY. So it closed today at 11:52, and as you know, all these are going to be significantly down. But AI closed at $20.84. So there were no trades today. You do see here that we have 2 short calls that expire Friday with the strike prices of $24 and $24.50. And yes, we are currently under our synthetic price, but you know, unless we're heading into a bear market, we should be okay. However, they did do a short expiration date on this one, so that is going to could possibly hurt us depending on how the next few weeks go and the market itself goes. Because as you can see, we're down now below that 5%, and so I haven't looked at a calendar. what is that, May 3rd? So it's in 3 Fridays. So almost 3 full weeks there. But anyway, we're going to move on to AMD here. Closed at 1773, where AMD closed at 160.32. They had added 105 contracts to the synthetic position and created a new short call with those 105 contracts with a strike price of 165. It does expire this Friday, and we are currently below this strike price by 3%. Now, you'll probably see this sort of throughout. I noticed this with Ulti as I was trying to figure out what was going on there. It looks like a lot of theirs possibly were done later in the day, after some of the drop had already happened, so that, you know, they may have done that with some of these too, or waited, or just, guessed what was going to happen. I don't know. But you can see we're only 3% underneath that strike price at that second. And I didn't add those other formulas there, but it's okay. I was messing with some formulas, starting to possibly add something new there, but yeah, it'll be okay. So we're the 15th. So we have 1 month out now to all of these expiration dates of 5/17, and we should probably, pay more closer attention to these, because this is what happened to AIYY and has also happened to Tesla, where we just kept going under, down, down, down. Of course, we know we've had 2 bad red days in a row, but it didn't start here with AMD. So you can see we have a month to this, and we're 20% underneath that strike price right now. So should we have had to have closed this synthetic out today, it would have cost us $26.7 million. So I don't want to go too in depth on that. I do need to add to my video to-do list, though, of something I don't know that y'all care so much, and I know I harped on this a lot, I think Friday afternoon, but I think I want to look more in depth, and just look more in depth at the AIYY and all the trades. I know I pretty much talked about it during that one video, if you even called it, but I'm thinking about pulling that out, using it as an example, and show you how things started falling apart with that one. But I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think. I know I haven't done anything like that before, but I think it would be significant to understand what happened with it. So we can use that, as an example going forward as we look at these things. But anyway, let's move on. So we have AMZ, it closed at 23.15. Amazon closed at 183.62. All right. So looking here, we had the 75 contracts, right? But then we have this 90 contracts here. So a couple of things could have happened here. I looked at the holdings and trades for last week, and it is shy 90. So either they, they didn't use those 90, or they did and it was a typo, or they just, they forgot to use them, or it was a typo, one or the other. So it is on there listed as a trade today, so it goes on there. So I don't know if it was truly a trade or not that was done today, or if it's fixing an error from last week. But that's why we have those there, that extra 90 there out of the blue, right, when we already have all the 75. So I paused when I saw that. That's why I hesitated. I paused the video so I could go look that up to make sure the data was accurate. But anyway, you can see here the 75 contracts added to the synthetic, and then we have that new short call for the 75 contracts at the 187.50 strike price. And then we have the short call that we already had from Friday at $190 strike price. So we're currently under those by 2 and 3%. And you can see that our shares for the two short calls, if you add those together now, they do equal the 3,900. If we move on to Apple. All right, so Apple closed today at 1681. Apple closed at 172.69. We have no trades to go over here. We do have one short call that expires Friday with a strike price of 180, and we're currently 4% below that strike price. We move on to Coney. We have no trades to go over here. Coney dropped significantly today. We're at 23.96. Coin, wow, I knew about Coney, but I didn't even pay attention to Coin today. Yeah, it's down to 223.41. We had 3 short calls that expire Friday, in which we're underneath all of them by 15 to 19%. Strike prices are 262.50, 270, and 277.50. I guess it's okay with those as long as we don't stay down there below that synthetic strike price too long. I know we have a few weeks left, but we move on to Dizzo. Dizzo closed at $20.34. Disney closed at $112.95. They added 5 contracts to the synthetic positions and created a new short call with a strike price of 116, in which we're under that by 3% currently. We have 2 other short calls that expire Friday, 117 and 118 strike prices, and we're below those 3 and 4%. We can see that we're currently underneath the synthetic position by 6% as well. Phoebe closed at $21.56 today. Meta closed at $500.23. They added 20 contracts to the synthetic position and created a new short call that expires Friday with a strike price of $5.15. We also have a short call that expires Friday with a strike price of $5.30. We are underneath both of those 3 and 6%, while we're also under our synthetic positions by 3 and 5%, with a $5.15 and a $5.25 strike price. GUI closed at $17.30 today. Alphabet closed at $154.86. They added 65 contracts to the synthetic position and to the short call with a strike price of $157.50, in which we're currently 2% below. The short call have another short call that expires Friday with a strike price of $160, in which we're currently under that one by 3%. That is also where the majority of our contracts sit. So JPMO closed at $19.86 today. It's down 3 cents. JPM closed at $182.89, which was up 10 cents. They added 35 contracts to the synthetic position, and they created a new short call with those 35 contracts with a strike price of $185, in which we're under that by 1% currently, but we also have a short call with a strike price of $200, in which we're underneath by 9%. This is one that would worry me, and I guess now that I think about it, as we're doing earnings, all of these could worry me if we're go back and think about AIYY, because we have less than 4 weeks here. JPM just reported earnings, and will this stock recover, or will it continue to go down, bringing the stock down with it? So this is one that we would really want to watch, or is it just going to bounce and start going back up? I don't know. We will see. I guess the idea with these higher ones or these bigger company ones is that they would bounce. AI isn't, as strong or big of a company, and it's still well, I don't know technically, but to me it's still like a starter company. It's not established like JPM. But I don't know. We'll see. We will watch. Marnie closed at $20.08 today. Moderna closed at 103.86. They have two short calls that expire Friday with the strike prices of 108 and 109, and we're currently underneath both of those 4 and 5%. MSFO, no trades for today. It closed at 21.78. Microsoft closed at 413.64. Contracts expire for short calls this Friday with a strike price of 430, and 435. We're currently underneath those strike prices by 4 and 5%. And as you can see, we're underneath our synthetic that expires next month by 3%. Misty down $2.50 today to 33.17. MicroStrategy down roughly $144 today. We're down to $1,335.88. Didn't I just fix this? All right. I apologize, but there we go. I had to fix. Our synthetic is now exactly the same date as our short call here. So I had to make a couple of changes. And our synthetic over here should update in a second. I just updated that to bring the formula back over. But I just noticed something. All right, I had pasted it to the wrong ticker. Yeah, maybe I should have just went back to sleep, and I'm really starting to feel it now. But I have the data updated now. So we have Misty here with 65 contracts added to the synthetic position and a new short call. It has the new strike price of $15.05, and we're currently below that by 11%. And then we have the other two short calls that expire Friday at 16.35 and 16.70. But we also have our synthetic position that expires Friday, and we're underneath that one by 21%. So we really hope the stock market comes back up this week. Right now it looks like it would cost us $23 million if we had to close out that synthetic position today. All right, let's move on to Netflix. We have no trades to go over. Netflix closed at $17.91. Netflix closed at $607.15. Two short calls that expire Friday with strike prices of $6.80 and $6.85. So we're underneath those by 11%. We move on to NVIDIA. It closed at $26.13. NVIDIA closed at $860.01. We have 100 contracts added to the synthetic positions and 100 contracts, a new short call with 100 contracts that expired this Friday with a strike price of 900, in which we're currently under 4%. And as you can see, our synthetics were currently underneath those by 6%. And if we had to close those out today, it would cost $24.5 million. OR closed at 11.68. Man, it was doing decent. And ARC closed today at 44.38. They added 260 contracts to the synthetic position And then created a new short call with a strike price of $4.60. That will expire this Friday. We have 2 other short calls that will also expire Friday with a strike price of $48.50 and $49. We are underneath the strike prices by 4 to 9%, with the majority of the contracts sitting at the $48.50 strike price. We are underneath the synthetic position by 11%. PayPay closed today at 1866. PayPal closed at 63.51. They added 170 contracts to the synthetic position and opened up a new position with 170 contracts with a new short call with the expiration date of Friday with a strike price of $66, in which we're currently under by 4%. And then we have another short call that expires Friday with a strike price of $67.50. We're underneath that one by 6%. And as you can see, we're underneath the synthetic strike price by 2%. Squee, we have no trades to go over, but it did close down 22 down to 22.27. Or block closed at 73.50. Our strike prices for synthetic and short call are $80. So we are underneath those strike prices by 8%. We move on to Tesla with no trades, but man, it was down 14.50 to 14.57, and Tesla was down $10 or $9.50 to 161.48. A short call that expires Friday with a strike price of 177.50. We are currently underneath that by 9%. We also have 2 synthetic positions with strike prices of 170 and 175, and we're underneath those 5 and 8%. And then we have Zomo here with no trades. It was up 1% today, while Exxon was down to $1.1968. We have 2 short calls that expire this Friday with the with strike prices of 123 and 126, and we're currently underneath those 3 and 5%. So YMAG was down to $20.36 today, and YMax was down to $20.81. As a reminder, the declaration date is it tomorrow? So be looking for an email or an announcement tomorrow, roughly 8:30, sometimes before, sometimes after, sometimes exactly on the dot. But that's for the YMAG, YMax, and the Ulti funds. Yep, that's it for this video, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.